at what it means to submit, why women have this allure to the bad boy archetype. We're looking at why marriages fail, and also this is a post-analysis of a lot of the comments that I've been receiving on my TikTok account, which if you haven't checked it out, I like to post there. It's at Team Shield Heart and at Team Shield Heart. And so basically I posted a video suggesting that premarital intimacy was the basis for the world's problems, specifically, especially in the US, because in the US there's this sentiment and this directive to try to make things as free, a sense of freedom and being able to do what you want. And I think the more you lean towards that, the more you inevitably result in a big government, because government gets greedy and people try to gain more and more political power, and it's kind of this left thing of freedom. But it's like people who think like that are often like government employees and stuff who don't even they don't even worry about money, because they have like a lot of job security, so they all vote for the left, and they, under the auspices of it being free and freedom, and then they invent like some of the, and this is going to sound misogynistic, but it's not, because I care about women, and if women really thought about it, most of them would rather be at home until they're married. That way they just making meals for their husband and their children. Most women would actually like that, and then the reality is they won't admit it, because they kind of seem to have this idea that they want to be like men. They want to be masculine. They want to make money. They want to pay other people to raise their children and have a job. They want to do things like like have money for vacations and the newest car and whatnot. But all that is really it's escapism. It's escaping that they don't enjoy their lives, and the reason that they don't enjoy their lives is because they're not thinking about it like, hey, if it's actually more courageous and more strong to try to make yourself and to put yourself in a position where you get to enjoy being feminine. You know what I mean? And so, thinking out loud about some of the comments I got and my responses, people will say like it's misogynistic to think that women want to be submissive. Well, number one, as a woman, like, why wouldn't you want to be feminine and have a husband you can look up to? And in fact, the statistics prove that marriages don't really do well when the wife makes more than the husband. And you think, well, it's equality, right? If women can have opportunities to work, shouldn't they be happy to have a husband and then contribute whatever they can, given their newfound opportunities to make money? Well, the reality is that women have this hypergamist angle where they don't feel good unless they are making unless their husband is making more than them, unless they see him like someone they can look up to, and the statistics confirm that. But the bigger issue is this idea of women submitting to men, not because it's like a control thing, but it's because it's like choosing to submit to men that they trust and respect, such as men like their father. Like, a lot of women don't realize it, but like their father's one of the few men who, would want the husband, the potential husband, to talk to them before talking to the woman. And if you were a father, I'm sure you'd want that too, rather than your daughter be seduced and just taken for sex. And then I'm gonna discuss why women are irrational, and that's gonna get into the main theme of the video, of how they prefer this bad boy archetype, and that they want to submit to that. But first, let me cover the aspect of like confirming for you that on the face of it, my angles may seem misogynistic, but that they are actually they're caring, and they're they're caring towards women. So, well, what people say is that, oh, I'm misogynistic because I'm telling women to follow men. When they follow their father's going to help them to find a loving husband. He's going to, and the same goes, like, this is kind of a blanket concept for young people in general. Like, they should be listening to the insights of both their father and mother. Although at a certain point, I don't think it's not advisable to refer to somebody as your personal authority. Like, as a man, especially as a man, you want to have an authority over your emotions. You want to be in your emotions and your financial world. You don't want to be dependent on people for that, because then you just end up being submissive yourself. But and this isn't about women not being like allowed to work either. Like maybe if we can be all conscious of all this stuff, and like the subconscious things of where like women tend to be hypergamous, where they only want the one alpha male, and then men tend to be, what's the word? Men tend to be men tend to be like polygamous, where they want multiple women. First of all, if you actually find women attractive, you should be able to only want one woman. Second of all, there's nothing more attractive than, in my opinion, than a woman's vulva, her vagina. So that's, to me, like the highlight of what you could do in this world, is give your wife oral sex. Like, to me, that's the height. And then people like Andrew Tate and Myron Gaines of Fresh and Fit, they'll say stuff like giving a woman oral sex is like submitting to the woman and being feminine. But I would say it's actually masculine, because because when sex is about getting off, you know what I mean? It's like sex is about having an orgasm, and to me, in a way, that's feminine. It's like the man needing the woman for something, and it's like it's more about getting off. It's not really about the man consciously like performing an action. It's more about his like unconscious biological drive and urge to get off. So because of that, that's just an added thing there. So, but the point is that when you're dealing with, you know, like people will think that, oh, like, now in a way Muslims are, some Muslims are misogynistic, because when they try to get like multiple wives, and they try to like, you know, dominate women, they may be like thinking that they care about women, but it's they're just treating them like objects. Like, can I get more objects or whatnot? It's like, you should want a woman that's like an equal to you. It's funny because I'm trying to shout out louder than the rain that's blasting. But yeah, you should want a woman who you consider someone who you admire and respect, and like has the same values as you. Hey, tech on point. Ah, man, good to see you, Tech. Yeah, so yeah, Tech, you guys gotta check out my TikTok page, because there's my most recent video is really it's got like 200 comments of back and forth between me and some adversarial people, and so part of the issue is, if women really are not as logical as men, and they're emotional, and they make emotional decisions, they choose the wrong people, then there should be evidence of this. And so point number one, the irrationality of women. One big thing that they do, is they have sex with a guy before the guy marries them and commits himself to her, and they think that they can convince the guy to marry them by using the sex as leverage. But that's irrational, because if the guy, if he's getting what he wants, then why would he give any? If he's getting it for free, then why would he give anything? And I know it sounds maybe unloving and primitive, and not everyone will do this, but in order to look at the truth of the matter, it's important to look at extremes. So we have the extremes of women, other things that women do. What do? They use all this makeup and high heels, and even stuff like breasts. I don't even like larger breasts. I mean, like, I sexually am attracted to them, but it's just not that as important to me as like vulva and clitoris and labia, and I also do like ass. But the thing about it is, you got to be careful, because as alluring as like the fat on ass or breasts look, the trouble is when first of all, that person's not healthy. If they're carrying all that, it's all carcinogenic and everything. And that's another thing. Like, women, like they don't really think about how they're feeling. They just like move based upon how the hive mind and the crowd is doing. And so they're not really thinking about like do I actually feel good? They're just thinking about like, what do men want? And the reality is men are responsible for this. Like, men ultimately do dictate, and this idea of like the quote unquote bad boy or alpha male archetype. It's like, what makes it that? Is it a guy who's attractive and wealthy, or has larger privates? Those may be factors that like allure a woman, but the question is like, nothing matters except loving commitment and like love. Like, if it's not gonna create love, then humanity might as well destroy itself, because obviously there's lots of other what are they called? Species of humanoid, like, people very similar to us throughout the universe, and they have love. In fact, from what I heard from some of the Andromeda contactees, I can't remember the guy's name, but like, he was saying that humanity is one of the like most violent and races, like one of the few races that will kill itself on like a large scale. I'm sure monkeys would kill themselves on a large scale too, but we're talking about conscious intelligence. And so there's kind of this area. Okay, so back to the irrationality thing. So another thing women do is they're into all these pets instead of dedicating their lives towards real humans, which can help them in the future. And if it's not their children that help them, then at least raising their children well, and those children can help other people that they're the age of the adults and the parents, and and so you have a lot of things that like the whole pet thing it's like totally, basically women just convince themselves of whatever situation they're in. Like, for example, if they can only attract a guy who's won't commit, they'll just say, oh, I'm into being like polyamorous, and so they just make up these delusions. Like, another big thing women will do is even though they obviously are attractive and everything, what the fuck is going on here? The honking this guy because he's driving. Drive too slowly on the highway. You know what I mean? Oh, fucking K. All right. So back to it. So it's tricky because like a lot of people don't hear this type of stuff. A lot of men are they just want sex. So what they do is they follow their women. They say happy wife, happy life. Like, they just follow their women, and women are irrational. Like, and this isn't being mean. This is like, women are designed to deal with like younger children, which is difficult to deal with. Like, the very act of fucking having the very act of like having children is difficult to even imagine. Like, a guy having to fucking breastfeed and fucking have a child in his womb. Like, it's like, we would just be like, go to the refrigerator, get some food for yourself. Like, it's just not, and the crying and everything, like and just women are designed to like follow. And the biggest evidence of that is how they follow bad boys. Like, they like the idea of like following like a bad, like the whole. That's what I was saying about the whole simp thing. Like even like pastors are being simps. Like they're catering to women's, like doing more emotional based sermons rather than logic. And the unfortunate reality is fucking most religion is about emotion. It's about, oh, don't do this or you'll suffer, you'll go to hell. Like that's an emotional argument. Like a logical argument for doing the right thing or marriage is like what I do, the stuff that I make. Like if you get married and you'll have safety and security and never feel like you have to convince somebody to like you, and you'll be able to be like in the vibe, in the frequency of love, all that. See if I can fuck it. It's all about it's what it's about wanting to be. I like that idea. It's about wanting to be in the frequency of love and wanting, just wanting to have the idea of can I ban someone? Oh man, right. I actually invite, dude. Tech One, I invite all the people to make comments, like, all the comments of like people. I mean, you gotta fucking check. Like people are calling me incel and everything, and the reality is, if I, even if I was like an involuntary celibate, like it would be bullying to make a comment like to say that, oh, you're an incel. Like the reality is, the reality the reality is that like it doesn't really matter if people are. That's your choice. Yeah, it's your choice, and it's bullying, and it's not. It does whether or not it's kind of like people make these arguments like, if you're not married, you can't give advice on marriage. Like it's a stupid argument because we all have collective knowledge and we can learn from each other. It's like saying if you haven't gotten into a car accident, you don't know how to avoid a car accident. It's very, very flawed logic, and so the whole. All right, so let me see here. So back to the whole women are irrational thing. Like women fucking get a period every month, and if men got a period every month. Oh, and by the way, women using like hormonal birth control, that's irrational too. Men would never do that. They would never say, oh, you want to affect your testosterone levels? Like, dude, men would not do that. And so that's just another, for instance, of how women think. They don't really think. They move they mimic and they just move with collectively. And the reality is, women are also irrational because they display secret ways of hating each other. Perfect example is a mother will be like to her daughter, like, "Oh, let the daughter, have premarital intimacy. Go, girl, be free." But it's really secretly that she is envious and hateful towards her daughter. Whereas the father will be like, "Hey, I want to protect you, and I want you to wait until marriage, and I would like a man to approach me first." But women say that, oh, that screw the patriarchy, screw men, and what ends up happening is they say that, oh, I want a guy who allows me to be free. But really what that translates to is that she wants a guy who's not doesn't want to commit to her, just wants to have sex with her, and a guy who is doesn't really is not like a husband material. He doesn't want to provide for her so that she can experience her feminine self and enjoy life. He wants her to work too so she can fucking help pay for daycare for their children, or fucking help fucking pay the bills. When I mean, part of it, the problem is hyper materialism, where like women are. See, here's the danger, guys. Like, what happens is everything knows something I don't. Everybody knows something you don't. That's a good one, actually. That's a good quote, man. Thank you. And so, and it's the way I interpret that is, it's like everyone has information that you don't. Like, for example, like if somebody's being rude, then it helps you to say that, oh, I'm gonna make sure I don't be like that, and I'm gonna figure out how to deal with that. Like it's like there's always opportunities to flip a situation into something better. And yeah, right. And so yeah, I really like that. I'm gonna screenshot that stuff. Tech, thank you. Yeah, so, but getting back into it, I'm about to go to work. I'm working as a temporary waiter today. It should be fun at a restaurant. But on the surface, dude, like, fucking okay, I'm just like you. I went to high school, with women, although I would have preferred that it be single gender, so there wouldn't be the tension of, having to feel like I have to impress women, or feeling like badly because some guy got one woman and I don't have one, or whatever. Like, I don't. That's not a good energy, and to me, it's like a private thing. Like, if what people's relationships, I'm not interested in theirs. I'm interested in marriage. And so, but the reality is, yeah, I'm coming up with a lot of stuff because of it's all about this video I made on TikTok. It was that premarital intimacy is the root issue of America's problems, and the truth is that women seem to have this, like, it's sort of a self-hatred. It's sort of this hatred of existence. It's this hatred of, maybe it's like hatred of having to bear children, hatred of, that a lot of men are objectifying them and everything. And so, but and a lot of times people just realize all this too late. Like, women realize it when they're like, when they're older, so, but we're gonna figure this out, guys. We're gonna make it a nice world. And yes, I do want it to be by fucking choice. I do want it to be freedom, like the idea of like it. Should we make it be like a Saudi Arabia where it forces people to, you know, restrict themselves sexually, like and it's kind of a theocracy where they have like a religion infused into the government. Well, like we could easily in America, we could easily make a law that made premarital sex illegal. We could easily make a law that, but the question is, you know, like I guess maybe it's a good idea. It works in Saudi Arabia. There's sex. You know, they have a very peaceful society, and people think that peace is a consequence of low crime, but the root issue is, what's the root issue of crime? Broken families where the young teen, you know, men end up being criminals. What's the root issue of that? Premarital sex. So so that's what I got for you today. I'm going to include a link of the TikTok video, but, you know, right, broken family, right? So, but I'm going to include that link, and you can, but otherwise just search Team Shieldheart on TikTok and just get into that video. If you don't have an account on TikTok, try to make one and comment, like get into the conversation. A lot going on there. But I'm going to say aloha to you guys, and you know, why don't we check out the view I'm looking at here? Watch this. All right on the ocean, you guys, right on the ocean. Feeling good. Yeah, much aloha. Thank you for tuning in, and let's talk more soon. All right, thanks, Tech, for the commentary. Yeah, all right, man. Yes.